Start three. All righty, here we go. Okay, here we go. You guys, get ready for a wild real estate tale. Picture this. You're in the process of selling your home, and suddenly your agent calls you with some shocking news. There's a squatter on your property. What in the world would you do in this situation? But hold on, let's set the stage first. I have the pleasure of introducing Sarah Hofer, a top broker associate of real estate in Oswego, New York. Sarah, we are all ears. Why don't you kick off by sharing a little bit of something about yourself and then dive in and tell us all the juicy details of this story?
Okay, hey guys. So, yes, my name is Sarah, and I've been in the real estate business for just over 5 years. And now I can honestly say that when you think you've seen it all, you haven't. You're in for surprises, but there's nothing that shocks you anymore. So my poor sellers, true story. Up here in upstate New York, it gets really cold, probably around, it starts October and goes till February. So
Not like
you have
Florida.
a lot of, not like Florida. So people are constantly looking for shelter, places to hide, places to stay. My poor sellers, this is after their first deal completely fell apart.
Ugh.
We're pushing through the second deal hard. I went over and helped them pack the moving truck, clean their house, get everything ready to go. We get notice of a clear to close. So we have, this was on a
Hold on,
Thursday.
let me just stop you for just a second because
Okay.
you just said you went over to help them pack and put everything in. I love hearing that about real estate agents because everyone's like, well, what does your real estate agent really even do? But like I've been in situations like that where I've had to like paint somebody's garage because they're not local or, just to get them through that thing. So that's an awesome thing for you.
It's so much more than just buying and selling a house. I mean, you really build a relationship with your people.
Yeah.
And so when you see them in despair or stress, it really hits home for you.
Yeah.
So we got clear to close on a Thursday. My
Okay.
seller just out of the blue, so for Friday morning. So we were closing on the house, final deal. Checks are getting cut Friday morning at 10 p.m. And my seller calls me on Thursday. I was in 3 towns over with my kids.
Jeez.
And he's like, I just want to do one more final walkthrough with you to make sure that, when you buy it or when you sell a house, the buyers get a chance to do a final walkthrough
Yeah.
and make sure that the house is in the same condition it was when they put the offer in.
Yeah.
So he
He
goes, I
must
just want to
have
make sure that
known.
the
He must have.
yeah, yeah. So he goes, I just want to make sure the house is good and there's nothing that you think we need to do.
Yeah.
So I got home, it was about 7:30. And so I had to meet me over there just a little bit after that when I got home. And I'm telling you what, we unlock the door and we get hit with just a smell of cigarette smoke.
Oh God.
And it was like
Your stomach probably
the
dropped.
oh my God, his wife just looks at me and I just saw fear in her eyes.
Oh,
We continue to walk in. There's burnt cardboard boxes all over the countertop, ashes floating around
that
everywhere. There's
stuff wasn't there before, was it?
2 days before. We were there 2 days
It's before.
before. There was mud trudged all through the house, and there was no signs of like getting in. So now we're all kind of nervous because we both locked the doors 2 days earlier after we had packed and cleaned everything.
Yeah.
And we just keep looking. Now my the wife she's sobbing. They went into the bathroom and showered. There was mud, I'm telling you, like probably an inch thick of mud all across the floor. They left their clothes in the dryer. So they must have been rolling around in mud or something, but they left their
So
clothes
they used the
in.
washer and then put them in the dryer, left
Yep.
mud everywhere, burnt
Yep.
his cardboard box.
Everywhere. They
Now they
were, I
brought the
think,
cardboard boxes in. They weren't there before.
correct. And I think the reason was they were trying to heat the house because he did have a lock on the thermostat that he had turned way down. And I believe that's why they were burning boxes, was to try to heat the
Oh
house.
my God. So you
Um,
got smoke
yes,
in the house
yes.
everywhere, like on the walls, like
So
that stuff.
yep. And my So we figured out that the way they got in was through the basement door. They didn't break in, but they shimmied it pretty well to get in, and that's how they were coming in and out. So my poor buyers, both of them are in tears. Both of them are at their ends. I mean, this is after they are having to give the buyers a $10,000 credit at closing already. So they're already just like spent. They just want this deal done.
So
So
buyers giving the sellers the 10,000 or the sellers are giving the buyers?
I'm sorry, did I say buyers? I meant sellers.
Sellers.
Sellers were giving the buyers $10,000 at closing,
Mhm.
um, just for some different issues that
I need to,
buyers wanted fixed.
okay.
So so when I saw the fear in their eyes, I mean, what are you gonna do? And I just told them, I'm like, we have to get this done. We have to clean. So I went back to my house. I grabbed all the cleaning supplies, my vacuum. We were there till almost 1 o'clock in the morning. We went to Lowe's home department over here and changed all the locks, bought all brand new locks, changed the locks. Oh, because we had left our garage door opener and spare keys on the counter like we do when people are doing
Yeah.
final walkthroughs and whatever.
So
All the keys were gone, everything was gone. It was pure
probably
fear
have the
mode.
intention of coming back.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
They left
And
the dryer, they took the garage and the keys. So holy
everything. Yep. Super, super
cow.
scary. And it was like on the outskirts of town. So it's like one of those where you really didn't expect it. I mean, we're constantly driving around checking out our vacant homes here to make sure that
Yeah.
situations like this don't happen. But it was just one of those things where right when you think you're ready to close a solid deal,
Yeah.
something happens, and I always say real estate agents are actually superheroes
Yes.
because we literally had superheroes and therapists and everything above because I literally had to talk them off the edge. It was insane.
And you're there till 1 in the morning, away
Ah,
from your family, cleaning for them. And it's not like
right.
you're gonna get anything extra to do that stuff, but it's just because you're, like you said, you're more than just a real estate agent. You care about your clientele. You
Hmm.
saw the fear and the sadness in their eyes, and you wanted to make things, okay. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, when you get to a certain point with your buyers or your sellers, you have that relationship already established where
Yeah.
it's more than money. It's more than just closing a deal. It's companion, it's feeling what they're feeling, the stress, the excitement, the happiness, the sadness.
You're
It becomes more
going
than
through it with them, which is
correct. Yeah. Yeah. So that was scary. So like, yeah, I mean, things don't surprise me anymore. And I always say that if we can get through a deal without a crazy situation, it's a bonus because more times than not, something crazy is always going to happen.
yeah. And those deals that come along that are totally smooth from beginning to end are like so rare, and so like you're thankful for them, but like you've also earned them in all the other situations that you've dealt with, but they're rare. So smooth sailing
Yeah.
deals are rare. They come around
They
occasionally.
they really are. And yeah, I guess you just always have to have your guard up and ready to do
Yeah.
whatever you got to do to get things done. And yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that was probably one of
The worst.
the I don't even want to say worse because we
Okay.
got through it and it was we did it, but it was one of those where like we do look back now and I'm still very good friends with the sellers and we laugh about it. I did tell them if I ever wrote a book on being a realtor that story was definitely going in the books. um because it's not something that you would even I like was pinching myself while it was happening to make sure that I wasn't just dreaming this because I'm like, this is so I was literally there 2 days ago. I could see something like that happening if the house had been vacant for like weeks,
Yeah.
and but the house was literally they moved out 2 days prior. So it was just so bizarre and fast how everything happened. And I think that's why it was so like shocking to everybody
Well, I'm
because we
just
were just
glad that
there.
when you got there, they weren't there, because that would have been probably a scarier situation, having this, face the squatter face to face. And then, of
Hmm.
course, I don't know what the laws are in New York, but there is squatter rights sometimes. And,
Hmm.
to evict the squatters, it can be can be kind of a crazy situation. So that's
It's terrifying. I have had situations where I have shown up. I already knew some squatters were in there. I had like people give me heads up that they've seen it. So I have before shown up with the cops, and I'm telling you what, these squatters jump out windows like gophers. They like literally are diving out the windows, and they like unfazed, like two-story floors, and they just kind of like pop up and then they take off running, and it's
oh,
like it's crazy, but you know, it's like
they're
it's
opportunists.
also
They're
right.
squatters, they're opportunists. They're looking for an empty lot and to basically prey
Mhm.
on somebody who is in either a situation where they have to sell their home, their mother's home, or anything, and
Yeah,
make it more difficult. So that's frustrating, but
right.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I say it all the time when people are like, you know, well, selling and selling and buying houses for people has got to be like so easy and so fun. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my job.
Mhm.
I don't even call it a job really because it's fun. I
Yeah,
love my career, I should say.
yeah,
Um, but there's a lot more behind the scenes that I think a lot of people don't realize
yeah.
when that goes into it, you know, and
Some
when
clients might think that they've had the best, smoothest closing, and usually the ones that are like, "Oh my gosh, wasn't that easy?" You're like, "Oh yeah,
mm,
sure." Because you're behind the scenes trying to salvage the deal. I mean, it can get insane. I had a deal once where um the first offer my sellers got, they backed out. And then this next offer they got, the clients tried to back out again, but there was no contingency. So I'm behind the scenes like, oh no, you cannot back out. There's nothing in the contract that says you can back out. My clients had no idea. And they're like, oh, that was such the smoothest closing ever. I'm like, yeah, I was fighting with the other real estate agent for like 3 days.
right, right, yeah, and they just don't see it, they don't get it. But that is also like what we do, right? We just try to keep it simple as possible, and as also as transparent as possible
Right.
for them. But there is. So if you ever see a realtor just out living her best life in a bar, there's no judging, okay? Because there's times that we have to let loose and just go, yeah, seriously. Um,
Yeah, those memes that I used to see before I was a real estate agent, like um real estate agent slash whatever drinking memes that you used to see, I'd be like, whatever, I would never. I mean, like, who needs to drink? And I was like, day 3 of being a real estate agent, I'm like, I need a bottle of wine.
I know, I know, or where they have like the seller's agent, like looking all prim and proper, and then a buyer's agent, like a mess, just like, you know, and literally like the last 2 years as a buyer's agent. I don't know how it is in Florida, but like here in New York, you can be both a buyer's agent and a seller's agent. So with my buyers the last few years, with how the market's been, it has been insane. And I'm telling you, like, you know, as realtors, we don't get paid obviously until a transaction closes. And, you know,
We're
I had
supposed
five,
to
six,
pay until a transaction closes. And then if it doesn't close, we've done all of that for free.
all that time, you know, and yeah, and I've had buyers where we've written, like literally written up 20 plus offers and not got it, not getting accepted and whatever. And then,
Yeah.
you know, then they find a friend who's selling their house and they just go buy it right from the friend
Uh,
because they're so nervous that they're not going to get it. Or if the friend
yeah.
puts it on the market,
Yeah.
you know, they're going to miss their chance. So then you have, you know, the past year and a half of what, 20 hours a week at least,
Yeah. Yeah.
just
The
down the
dedication
drain.
provided for that client can fall apart in just a few seconds or a few moments, and they don't realize
Right.
like the time that you spent from your kids, your family, the sacrifices you
Right.
made to get them to see different houses, the consideration, the
All of it.
making offers. And sometimes they don't think about that because they don't realize what is involved in being a real estate agent. And so I always
Mhm.
try to like put content out there, be like, hey, your real estate agent is busting their butt for you. Be kind
Right.
to the real estate agent.
Well, yeah, and especially in the crazy moving market, like a house hits the market, you literally as a buyer's agent are dropping everything to get your buyer into that house because you know by tomorrow they're probably going to have multiple offers on it. So you want so yeah, everything's on the back burner. Everything is just pushed aside and you're moving, moving, moving. So, um,
Is the
yeah,
market
just
like that in New York, or is it slowed down a little bit?
no, it's still definitely I want to say it's not as crazy, but when houses are priced right, that was my next thing is houses are still moving
Yeah,
solid with multiple offers if they're priced right.
they're priced
I
right.
think we still have some sellers that believe that they're going to get crazy,
Right.
crazy above asking price offers, which we still have houses that are selling
Do you
above.
think it's more a buyer's market now?
I think I don't want to say complete buyer's market because I feel like it's almost a fair middle game right now because if the houses are priced right, which
Hmm.
are still above the national average from 3, 4 years ago, uh, you're getting that, you're still getting that traffic through your house. You're getting your multiple offers. I think the buyers are buying a little bit smarter
Yeah,
where they're not going completely crazy with, escalations or waiving the home inspections or that kind of thing. They're still willing to pay more, but they're going to demand more. They're going to want that home inspection. They're going to want the repairs done. They're going to want, so I feel like it's a good middle game right now. The sellers are getting what they want. Buyers aren't going super crazy. And if your seller is listening to their agent, they're definitely going to sell their house quick. But I think that's so important is to listen to the professional in that market and tell you
yeah.
what to do. Try not to, as a seller, list your house with a price that has, emotional attachments to it.
Yeah.
No,
Don't sit.
honestly, buyers don't care if you lived in it for 20 years and grew up there and raised your kids there and, all the things, have all your animals buried in the backyard. Buyers don't care about
Yeah.
that.
All the animals buried in the back.
So
I
try to
never
leave.
did that as a kid though, so like it sounds weird, but that's like it. People do that. They bury their pets in their backyard. So yes,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they become emotionally attached to it, which is okay.
yeah,
But when you're selling your home, you have to leave that. That's why you want to leave it to the professional to market your house, put the price on your house and all that, because they're going to take away the emotion
yeah.
and really give you the best on the market
Well,
type
and
thing.
it's true. If you go on the market with the right price, you're probably going to end up with multiple offers. But if you go on the market
Hmm.
and you're too high, you're not listening to your agent, you're going to sit, and then people are going to lowball you.
And
When
they're going to wonder what's wrong with your house. And
yeah,
it's going to be old news,
yeah,
and nobody likes old news.
yeah,
So, yeah,
that's so true.
definitely.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that here in Florida too, for sure. There's a lot of houses that are just sitting. I know it's part of it is the season, Christmas, and it's
Hmm.
slower, but a lot of clients are start like wanting to hit the highest price that, we're not in that 2020 market anymore, and you've got to come down, and it's insane because you're doing CMAs, they're doing their own CMAs, or looking on Zillow, and the prices are based off of what sold in 2020, which is super high, super crazy,
Hmm.
and that's just not happening anymore. So you've got to come back down to what reality is, and do a CMA based off of the structure of the graphs and stuff off of what
Right.
reality would be, pretty much appraisals, right? So what the appraisers would appraise it at, because when we were in 2020, people would put over, they would throw out the appraisal contingency, so it wouldn't even matter if it appraised or not. A lot of times they weren't appraising because the prices were so ridiculously high, and
Yeah.
that's definitely coming back, which is good.
And I feel like part of that too, and like what people have to remember is the crazy price, like 2020, 2021. And I'm no expert when it comes to financing, trust me. But I believe the crazy prices had a lot to do with the interest rates because people, do you want to come say
There,
hi? I'm in an interview.
come say hi.
Come say Don, she's gonna post it. Act professional.
It's payback. Act professional. It's payback.
That's my broker. It's really professional around here.
He's crazy.
Oh
Takes me
no. So
to
what
one.
Right. No, it's a fun place here. But what I was saying was, with the interest rates, like people that were approved at 2.5%, 3% interest were approved for, 250,000 or $300,000. Once those interest rates got to 7.5%, they're no longer approved for that high anymore. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
So they're not going to go in crazy over asking, where when the interest rates were only like
Yeah.
2.5%, 3%, it was
Because
easy
the
to just
payment
go
is
crazy.
different,
Hmm.
right? So
Yep.
if they're going to be drastically different. Yeah. But when you say 200, 300,000 for Florida, I just want to point out that that would be like Florida houses versus New York houses. It's so
Oh, right.
different. I mean, that house that would be 300,000 in New York would be like 600,000 in Florida. So
Yeah.
same thing, people are putting offers in at 500, $600,000 here, and that interest rate makes the payments totally different. So now that the interest rates are higher, they're looking at lower priced houses, and still their payments are too high.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And then on the reverse side, on the seller side, I've seen too where they come to you and they're like, well, Zillow says my Zestimate is
Mhm.
450,000, and you're giving them a market value of maybe 299. I'm talking about New York houses.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is I just ask them, when's the last time Zillow walked through your house?
Yeah.
Like, they don't. It's a huge demographic of where Zillow gets their estimates from, and it's pretty much based on, square footage. It's not necessarily based on location where it's at.
Right.
They
Or
do
upgrades
a very
or not
right.
upgrades. If you haven't done anything to the house, the estimates are totally off. And
Exactly. It's just such a wide demographic. So people that go off strictly Zillow of what their house value is, it's not a good way to go at all.
no, I don't.
Um,
Have you ever
I,
found anybody that's been close to what the estimate actually is?
um, no, actually, not
Yeah, me.
really. No, because like you said again, I mean, when you add in, you say upgrades, but when you add in things that need to be upgraded, that devalues your home. I mean, if you have a roof that, is 30 years old, I
Yep.
mean, that's automatically 15,000 that it's going to at least devalue your home. Little things like that even simple maintenance on
Yeah.
your home as a roof, not necessarily upgrades, but your roof, your water heater, your furnace, those are basic maintenance that if they're dated will devalue your home right off the bat, because those are the big things people look for. An upgraded kitchen will add value to your home, but upgraded paint is not. People don't care if your house is freshly painted. They'll paint it themselves.
Yeah,
So I
because it's
guess it
a personal thing too, and they may not even like the color you chose.
right. Right. So yeah, when you're looking to sell your home, it's so important, I think, to get a professional
Hmm.
to be in your corner to fight for you. Um, again, there's so much that we do behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And if you really want top dollar, you know, you need a professional. I always say, when people do for sale by owners, they're so excited because they saved the realtor commission or whatever of what, $8,000. And then when I really sit down with them, which I have, when you really sit down with them, it's like, yeah, you saved the 8,000, but you just lost 15
Yeah.
because you didn't get it in the market. We weren't able to market, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Marketing is everything.
national, yeah, national statistics show that
Mhm.
when you hire a realtor, you're getting more for your money. It's a smoother transaction. It's just across the board so much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
You are full of such great information. Can we do this again?
yes,
I love
absolutely.
I love picking your brain, and I know that you have more crazy stories. So I'm gonna pull you back on here. Let's plan next week again, and I want to hear another crazy story.
Oh,
Okay?
I have a bunch of them. I want to hear some of your crazy stories too, though,
Uh,
because I have a feeling I'm not alone.
you're not alone.
And if I am, then I need to know what I'm doing. Do I have like a sign that flashes that says, if you're going to make this crazy for me, call me? It
Uh,
was so good to talk to you. Thank
good
you
to
so
talk
much
to
for your
you.
time. And I will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.